Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new here. As you can see guys, I am in a very chilled vibe. As you would know or you should know, there has been a lot going on at the moment in the media and on social media in regards to the Black Lives Matter movement. It is quite exhausting, and I just wanted to come on today and just offer some self-care tips, resources, some tips and tricks, and how you can keep yourself well at this moment in time. Because I don't know about you guys, but this week has just been very up and down with emotions. I haven't really felt too great, if I'm completely honest. The most important thing is to make sure that you are keeping yourself well at the moment, just because you can't fight the cause if you are not feeling 100%. So yeah, that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. I am going to be referring to some notes in this video. I don't normally do that, but I think it's important that I don't forget everything that I want to mention. I probably will forget some things, but what I will do is I will leave all the resources, all the tips and tricks in the description bar below. So yeah, let's get on to the tips and tricks, because that's why you're all here. So guys, I didn't actually mention this in the introduction, but I just want to put a disclaimer out there. I am not a psychologist or psychiatrist or counsellor. It's just me giving some tips and tricks from my perspective and things that I use, which leads me nicely into point number one, or tip number one, is do go and see a therapist or a counsellor if you are struggling. I am of the belief that I think everyone in their lifetime should actually go and see a counsellor or a therapist, just because, you know, sometimes you do need someone there that isn't your friends, isn't your family, you can speak to, offload to, and that can be quite refreshing, and they are trained to sort of help you and possibly discover maybe some causes as to why you're feeling like that, and they are better equipped to do that. So I would highly recommend, you know, do seek out, go and get some professional help if you are struggling. Even if you're not struggling massively, like I said, still go reach out to a therapist or a counsellor, because they are really useful. A website that's called Black Minds Matter, and it's a website where you can find black counsellors and black therapists who can sort of help you, because I know sometimes when you go through the NHS, you don't get to pick your sort of therapist or your counsellor, so it can be quite hard to offload to someone that may not actually understand what you're going through. So on Black Minds Matter, you can find a therapist or a counsellor of your choice, and there is another website that I'm going to leave in the description bar as well, where you can also pick and choose your therapist. So you do have to pay if you are going to seek your own therapist. And if you can spend lots of money on clothes, makeup and everything like that to look nice and feel good about yourself, why not spend the money to actually make sure that inside and your mind is feeling great as well. So I would recommend, if you can afford it, that is, to really do go and seek out for a therapist or a counsellor. Moving on to tip number two, so this is something that you can use in the moment if you are struggling and you're feeling overwhelmed or you're feeling anxious, and that is sort of breathing techniques that can really sort of help. I know sometimes they are referred to as grounding exercises. There's different ones that you can find, but essentially is when you are feeling overwhelmed, is just always bringing yourself back to your breathing and focusing on your breathing, and then the mind just then sort of resorts back to that, and hopefully then you will start to then calm down. So another breathing exercise that I like to use, and my friend actually suggested this to me, and he sent this to me I think it was a few months ago, and it's a video by, I'm probably going to say his name incorrectly, but it's Wim Hof or something along the lines of that, and he does amazing breathing exercises, and I will use that sometimes if I'm struggling to sleep at night. I will put that on and follow that YouTube video, and I don't know what the science is behind it, but it just makes you feel relaxed. So if you're struggling to relax, even if it's not at night time, but it's probably you're just sitting down and you're struggling to sort of just feel relaxed, just pop on that video. I will leave that video in the description bar below, so that you have that and you can check that video out on YouTube. So another thing that I like to do, that's in my self-care basket, I should say, or my self-care bank, is I like to listen to a good old podcast. Now, I have a couple favourites which I shall share with you, but I just like putting on a podcast and just sort of distracting myself from whatever's going on, or de-stressing myself. And you know what, it is just a good release to just listen to something, and it just goes away for however long the podcast is on for. A couple of my favourites are the Receipts podcast, three ladies, and they are so funny. I'm always cracking up to them. I've recently started listening to 3 Shots of Tequila, so they're a bit like the Receipts podcast, but it's just a male's version, which is always great to get a male's perspective. Another podcast that I like to listen to is Laid Bare, so that's a sex and relationship podcast. And then I also listen to Pennies to Pounds, which is all about like finance. So definitely check those out. They're some of my favourites. If you've got some favourite podcasts, do let me know, and I'll definitely check those out. Moving on to tip number 4. So this one is something that I am currently doing at the moment, and I am a strong advocate of this, and that is detaching yourself from social media. So it's quite tough, actually, if I'm completely honest, because you want to go on social media because you want to make sure that you're staying informed as to what's going on, but at the same time it is quite exhausting. But it is important that you do detach yourself away from it. So at the moment, I am only limiting myself to only checking my social media 3 times a day, and once I've checked that 3 times a day, that is me done for the day. Just because I was quite overwhelmed by social media, with just seeing everything, so I have sort of reduced, and I am closely monitoring my intake. If you are feeling like, you know, it is having an impact, it is triggering how you're feeling and it's triggering your moods, definitely just take a step back, and then you can gradually sort of get back into social media or whatever. But definitely know it can be a trigger, and to make sure that you're feeling okay, I would say just detach for some time. And on the topic of that, I would say something that I do is turn your notifications off. So I haven't had notifications on now for about, I'm tempted to say about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. I just don't have my notifications on. So the idea with that is I want to go into whatever app it is, and that means that I want to do that, and I am accessing social media rather than social media coming to me with notifications. That means when I'm going into that app, so whether I'm going into Twitter, Instagram or WhatsApp, that means that I'm in the right headspace, and I personally want to do that. So a lot of the times you'll see me active on one social media and I'm maybe not responding on another, or I'm taking long to respond, and that generally is because I don't have notifications on my phone. And doing that has really I just love it, and I don't even know when I'll turn notifications back on, to be honest. Don't think I ever will. Which leads me on to another point, is having your phone on Do Not Disturb. I absolutely love that one as well. Again, just cleansing your mind from your phone. Moving on to tip number 5, one of my favourites and has been getting me through lockdown and whatever is music. I absolutely love music, and it is honestly in my self-care bank. Ask my neighbours, ask my mum, I am always playing music. I will put on my speaker, I will turn my music up, and I will just have a dance and have my own party in my room, and it just makes me feel a whole lot better. And you know what, it is doing some exercise as well. It's your daily exercise, so highly would recommend just, you know, listening to some music, putting your favourite tunes on. The next sort of bit that I'm going to talk about is anything to do with like your physical appearance, or something physical, or doing something nice for yourself. So a few things that I like doing is, like I just mentioned, putting on a face mask. And sometimes when I'll put my face mask on, I'll put some candles on. I just absolutely love washing my hair. It is like the form of self-care. I think I tweeted this the other day, but yeah, washing my hair is like a form of self-care for me. Just finding something that's gonna make you feel good. So for some people that might be doing your makeup, or you know, but yeah, doing something that's making you just feel physically better. The next thing that I'm going to talk about, or the next few things actually, are quite old-fashioned. Colouring book and some crayons. Oh, they're just falling out. So a colouring book and some crayons, and this, so the other day I did a bit of colouring. I had the Receipts podcast on, had my candles, and I was just like, I am in my zone. I am feeling very zen right now, and that was just, like I said, personally for me, it was great. I will pop in the description bar below where I picked this up from. So along with the colouring book, I also purchased, again, a bit old-fashioned, but it's some word searches. I don't really like crosswords, but it's word searches, crosswords, and a Sudoku. Well, Sudokus, I should say. If I'm struggling to sleep, I will bring this out and do like a word search or a Sudoku. I just love Sudokus. I don't know what it is. I think it's good to have activities that don't necessarily require you to use your phone. So that's why I have the colouring book, and that is why I have the word search. And sort of linking on to another point and another self-care tip is finding something creative. So I started YouTube because I wanted to be creative. I enjoy editing and I enjoy coming in front of the camera and talking to you guys. So just finding something that's creative for you. So like I said, some people use makeup, some people may want to read a book, some people may want to write a poem, write a song, or yeah, finding maybe your creative outlet to sort of help you sort of calm down and relax. Another few tips that I'm going to mention, and then I am going to be wrapping up this video, but communication, speaking, so whether that be speaking to the therapist or the counsellor that I mentioned at the start of the video, or just speaking to friends and family. And especially at this current moment in time, sometimes you just want a good rant. Like the other day, it was the middle of the day and I just had a big massive rant to one of my friends about how I was feeling and everything like that. And at the end of it, I really did, I just felt so much better, offloading that negative energy and offloading how you're feeling, because honestly, keeping that inside just means that you're running those thoughts constantly through your head. If you don't want to speak verbally, at least as a starting point, writing it down, at least then you're then sort of just letting out that emotion. And that is the most important thing with looking after yourself, is making sure you have got that release, whatever that may be, but just releasing that emotion. I know I used to like going to the gym. That was one of the biggest things that I used. Sometimes I will just go for a walk. My mum tells me she needs to just go for a walk, so I do it. And to be honest, when I do go for a walk, I do feel a lot better. Everything that I've mentioned today is just all about releasing negative energy, or releasing your thoughts or your feelings. I hope I'm making sense. I really do hope I'm making sense. And so finally, the last thing that I really wanted to touch upon was just being easy on yourself. So that is the biggest thing that you can do at this moment is in time, is just really focusing on, one, like I said, looking after yourself and not taking everything like you're taking the world on your shoulders. I know a lot of black people are probably feeling really guilty. They're feeling like they're constantly having to sort of fight, and they're having to sort of always be on sort of that go go go. It's okay to just have a day where, you know, you're not really doing anything, you're not fighting the cause, and having those days, it is okay to do that. As bad as it sounds, the cause and the movement isn't going to go away in 24 hours. So just do something that's gonna make you feel good. And you know what, it is hard at the moment, but do just be really easy on yourself. I'm going to wrap up the video there. I will leave all the resources in the description bar below, so please do check that out. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of content that I need to edit, but last week I just wasn't in the mood to do that. Do make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button so you don't miss another day in the life with Shan, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye.